to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome, neighbors, to Vecinos with your host, Maria Garcia.
Good morning. Welcome to Vecinos. I have a co-host today, Oscar, and I'm going to ask him to tell about himself and then a little bit about our guest. Our guests today are from UCSD, and they're engineer majors. So we're looking forward to seeing what they have to tell us.
Good morning, Maria. Thanks for the invitation. My name is Oscar Vasquez. I am a professor in the School of Engineering at the University of California in San Diego. I work in the Department of Nanoengineering. We do research, we do teaching, and we also do service to the community. And one of the main goals of UC San Diego is to give the opportunities to all the community and the minorities. So today I'm very happy to have two excellent students from the Hispanic community. One of them is Joshua Castro. He's from San Jose. He came from the ANSA Community College, and right now he's in his third year in the major of nanoengineering. And our second guest is Miguel Moreno. He's from Calexico. He went to Calexico High School. Now he's in his second year. Also, his major is in nanoengineering. So thank you so much for coming here.
So we'll start with you, since you're from the closest to us, and from Calexico. Tell us about growing up, and what was it like, and how did you end up at UCSD?
All right, so growing up, I did not grow up in Calexico. I was born in the Mexican side of the border, Mexicali, Baja California, so proud Mexican. All right, so I grew up in Mexico. When I was about in third grade, me and my parents, we migrated to the United States. It wasn't a huge change. It was just kind of like 20 minutes away, but the shock growing up was huge. So coming from Mexico, coming to the United States, leaving your friends, leaving your family, it was a big shock. But then once I got used to school, once I learned the language, I mean, growing up, I had a good experience growing up. And then once I got into maybe middle school, that's when I realized, you know what, I want to go to college. I want to do something with my life. My parents were on top of my grades every day. So middle school, I was a pretty good student. Then I went into high school, and then I was for sure going to college. So it was a big process. It was not easy coming to UCSD. So it was a daily process. It was community service. I was in sports. I was doing I was in my classes every day. So it was not easy at all. Don't think it was easy. But once I hit fourth year and then I applied to college, it was just, I knew I was ready. My parents had prepared me my whole life. And then now I'm UC San Diego, so it's a huge, huge, huge culture shock for me.
Yeah, you said it was a shock moving to Calexico. What was the shock there?
I don't know, just being, I mean, I had been to Calexico before, so it wasn't like I didn't know the place. But the culture, even though it's mostly Mexicans in Calexico, it's like 99% Mexicans. It's just a different lifestyle. You're in Mexico, it's completely different. You come over here, there's the English side of it. I did not know much English. So I remember growing up, I have one little story. So I was in third grade. I remember I was walking around with my little dictionary. So people would look at me weird, but I had my Spanish-English dictionary walking around in school. So that's how kind of like how I completely learned the language. So believe it or not, I was walking around with the dictionary. So that was huge for me. And then the friends. And being in third grade, I was a kid. I did not really, it was hard for me to find friends again. But once I did, it was great. It was great.
Okay. How did you end up at UCSD then? I'm sure a counselor helped you.
Not really. It's not. Right, so counseling and back home is not very good, you can say. So what my experience is, they usually try to help the students that are struggling to graduate from high school, because there's not a lot of students that don't graduate, so they want to focus on that first. So they figure that the kids are already trying to go to college, they don't really need the help, but we really, really, really do. So I had to kind of figure it out by myself, being a first generation student. My parents, they did go to college, but it was in Mexico. So it's completely different. They had no idea. So I had to figure it out by myself. So it's kind of hard, but now I'm here, so it's...
How did you figure it out? I mean, how did you say, I'm going to UCSD, the grades, everything? I mean, it's not just, I'm going to UCSD, let me fill out the application. Well, what did you do?
It was mostly the friends I had in high school. So most of us, we had the same goals. We all wanted to go to a good school. And then I didn't know much about the schools out there, but I did know that the UC system was great. And then I figured the closest one to home is UC San Diego. I did a little bit of research. I knew they had great academics. I knew the school was great. I went once. And then after going, I just fell in love with UC San Diego. So I decided, you know what, I want to go to UCSD.
And, you knew that you wanted to do like engineering or science, or that came later? Or I mean, when did you know that that was kind of the thing you wanted to do?
Yeah, I did not have a big experience with engineering. I didn't know much about it, but my dad was a mechanical engineer. Oh. So growing up, I had the idea, you know what, I want to do engineering. Why? I don't know why. I just know my dad's an engineer. It's ingrained in me. I want to be an engineer. And then, the math classes, the science classes, that was what I really liked. So as my dad's an engineer, I like math, I like science, why not? And then right now I'm starting to figure it out what engineering is about. I'm barely a second year, so I'm still figuring it out. But I know that this is what is right for me. That's what I know.
Okay. I know, Joshua, you have a different path. Tell us a little bit about your growing up.
Well, I grew up in San Jose, California, up in the Bay Area. Yeah. I grew up with two immigrant parents. They came from Guadalajara about 23 years ago. And my dad was an engineer back in Guadalajara, but when he moved over, he had to start over. So we grew up very poor. He's a jardinero, and so we grew up very poor. And
go ahead, tell us more about your youth. Tell us what growing up very poor. How did you do in school?
I wasn't the greatest student. I was a bright kid, though. I was in I was really good at math. I excelled in math. I took the AP Calcs in both of them, and I did really well. But in the classes, I was failing. I would ditch school and go play handball. And I was a pretty bad kid. Not the greatest influence at that time.
Thank you for being so open and honest. So how did you get to UCSD? Failing students do not get to UCSD.
No. I went to community college. I went to De Anza, and since I knew not being involved in school had a huge effect on me, I decided to get out of my comfort zone and go to join a sport. I joined cross country, and then I joined track and field, which were kind of similar since I was a runner. And that exposed me to people that were really driven to run, driven to better themselves. And I wasn't the fastest. I was the slowest guy on the team. I didn't do any sports in high school, so I wasn't good. It was a really humbling experience for me. But that taught me to pursue, to run, it gave me a drive. And I applied that for my school, into my school life. I applied it to my classes, and I excelled. Turns out I'm not that bad at school.
Good for you. And so after going through community college, how did you pick UCSD, or did UCSD pick you?
UCSD, it was a mixture of both. I wasn't sure what to do after I graduated, because I applied for schools, and I originally wanted to be a mechanical engineer, but I got into Irvine. It was between Irvine and UC San Diego as nanoengineering, and I was really interested in the research that the nanoengineering department was doing because I thought it was so cool. So in the end, and financial aid, that was a huge deal too, but also research. So that's what helped me choose UCSD.
I think that, looking at Miguel and Joshua, and also for myself, I think this kind of like extracurricular activities like sports, doing arts, is something that also gives the student something like a driven motivation and something to focus and getting more like excited and to do something. So I think it's an advice for students, like when you get also into sports or these kind of activities, it helps you. So I don't know if you can comment a little bit on that. Do you think that your baseball or your running help you to kind of like getting more focus into your school?
I believe it did, because I wasn't disciplined at all. But joining a sport, having mandatory practices, it changed me in that way, definitely. Created more discipline. I also play guitar, so that also helped out with a lot of discipline, because hours and hours a day, you don't get better at anything one day to the next.
Yeah, I can totally agree with that idea. So I've been playing baseball since I was 3 years old. So baseball has been a huge impact on my life. I know that for sure. So growing up, I mean, 3 years old, you don't even know what commitment is. You don't know what commitment is. You don't know what being a driven person. You have no notion of that idea. But as I grew up and my parents instilled the idea on me, it was huge on me, just having that authority, not just your parents, having the coach you have to follow. You have to follow the rules. You have to be there for other people. People are counting on you, so you can translate that into the classroom, into your personal life, your family life. So it has been a huge impact on my life.
I would like you, when we come, well, we can start it now. I do not know what nanoengineering is, and I'm sure that a lot of our audience does not know. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So basically, nanoengineering, it's a field that started perhaps like 20 years ago, and it's driven by the technology that allows to handle things every time smaller and smaller. So if you think about human life, right, the fundamental blocks of life are the cells that are like a little bit like 1 millimeter. But now we have tools that allow us to manipulate things that are like 1,000 times smaller than that. So that means that we can put more devices into our mobile phones. We can have devices that consume less power because they are smaller. We can also put more stuff and have a bigger functionality on the devices. So it's just this ability to make things smaller and smaller and have an impact in electronics, in medical engineering, in informatics. So it's a huge thing, and we have these excellent students who are like working on this kind of activities. So maybe they can share a little bit of what do you like about nanoengineering, Joshua and Miguel?
We're going to have to wait when we come back from commercial to share these ideas, but I do want to hear your ideas on this. Thank you so much for sharing your life with us and for being so open about your life. Thank you.
A podcast or radio show on WS Radio is a great way to create content marketing. Turn prospects into customers into raving fans. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
The richness of your life is reflected in the shimmering elegance found at Diolun Design. One-of-a-kind jewelry and pieces from Cynthia Dillon in silver and gold help to express your unique personality. The flowing designs of her creations will empower the way you move throughout your day. Join us online at DIOLUNdesigns.com.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What? Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile put your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Amplify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome, neighbors, to Vecinos with your host, Maria Garcia.
Welcome back to Vecinos. I'm going to ask Oscar to take the mic and talk more about how these students got there and financial aid. He'll be asking the questions at this point. Oscar?
Thanks, Maria. Well, I mean, definitely one of the main challenges to get into college is the cost, right? So especially a lot of Hispanic families, migrant families, I mean, the economical challenge is very difficult. And I know for sure that when we talk to kids about going to college, the kids are super excited, but you can see the face of their parents like, how much is it going to cost? And then being afraid of, like, they don't want to discourage their kids, and they want to know, like, how can I pay for the college for my kids? And you can see the parents being afraid because they want to do something and they are afraid to tell their kids, oh, sorry, we don't have the money. So based on what you, Joshua and Miguel, you were telling us, what was it? What do you think your parents were thinking about, like, this economic challenge? Was it something that was discouraging them, or you felt that they were always, like, trying to push you and getting the resources? Or can you comment on that?
So I know it was definitely a challenge for my parents. They did not want me to know it was a challenge for them. They wanted to keep it a secret. I know that for sure. But if I was scared, I was no one going to be that was thinking about the money. I know my parents were terrified. But there's a lot of opportunities out there to make college affordable. The FAFSA, the financial aid program, it's huge. You apply to FAFSA. I'm not saying college will be free. Don't think that it will be free. Nothing's free in life, but it does make it very affordable. So depending on your income, for me personally, about the tuition itself was all paid for, which was huge for me. It was about $12,000 in just grants. I don't have to pay that back, but there's a lot of part that I did have to get loans for it. It was scary for me. I mean, taking a loan at such a young age, graduating college, already having just having a dent right there in the bank. It's hard. But my parents always told me, you know what? We want you to graduate today. We'll worry about the money once you graduate. So we want you to go. We want you to experience life. We want you to have an education. And then one day when you have a job, hopefully you're doing this so that one day paying that college is going to be secondary. You're going to have the tools to get a good job and pay it off eventually, rather than not having an education and then not having the greatest of job, and then not having the loan in the bank, but you're not having that income that you really want to have. So they instilled on me that you do have to go to college. It's hard, but we'll get you through it. Don't worry about it.
How many brothers and sisters did you have?
One sister. I have one little sister. I am the first generation student, so I'm trying to be the example for her. I'm trying my best. She tells me that I'm doing a good job, so hopefully I am. But I wanted to do just what I did and maybe even better. Maybe go further. Maybe go to another school. Just open the horizons. I know she's doing well in school, so she's in a good path.
And did you get any help from someone regarding financial aid, like your application for the FAFSA or other grants?
There was programs in school, I remember, that helped you with the financial aid office, but with the financial aid process with the FAFSA. But for some reason, I did not do it. I just decided to do it by myself. I decided, you know what, I'm gonna stay with my parents, my dad and my mom. We're gonna get through this together. We did it at home. We just kind of filled out the application. It's not. Don't think it's a hard application. It's pretty straightforward. You just sit with your parents. You have all the paperwork, and you'll be fine.
Good. Joshua, what about you?
Well, it was a little different for me because I went to community college, and at community college, I applied for financial aid. I do disagree. I think it was very confusing, especially when my parents don't have Social Security, so I have to put 000s for all that, and then I don't know what happens, but somehow it ends up working. But but it was a little different for me. So I had already had experience with financial aid, and I was basic when I was at community college. I was getting paid to go to school, which was awesome. And then the transfer over, and I don't think my parents understood the transfer over because they were like, oh, you're getting paid to go to school at De Anza. They're probably going to pay you to go to school at San Diego, but no. But thankfully, thank God, it's covered. I have my tuition paid for, and I got a grant, a scholarship. I think it's called a Blue and Gold Scholarship from UCSD that covers my tuition, but the financial aid, and I think I pulled out a loan. I did have to pull out a loan because it was going to take everything, but that also helped me.
Did you apply for that scholarship?
No, I didn't. It was given to me. I think it's based on income.
Yeah. So, because, besides that, there are a lot of opportunities that you have to apply for. There are a bunch of scholarships, small scholarships that just help you a little bit with, with like getting a computer or your first rent. So, there is some stuff that comes directly from the university, but I also know that there are a lot of fellowships out there that sometimes we don't know that they are there, and that's where sometimes it will be nice to have like counselors who can like tell you, there's this and this and this option. So there's not only the FAFSA, but some other options. But would you say definitely I guess like financial aid is one of the main factors, right, for coming to UC? So I'm happy that you kind of like went over that. And do you know students who like you think had the merits to come, but they didn't get financial aid either because they didn't know or because they didn't get anything?
So I do know. I had a close friend. She came to UCSD last year, but she was in that kind of middle gray zone where it's like you don't have low enough incomes to where you can get this grant to pay for tuition, but you're not well off enough to pay the whole $30,000 a year. So she was kind of in the middle. She did come 1 year. She was an astrophysics student, so she was a bright kid. And then this year she had to go back to the community college, but she does want to come back next year. So I'm really glad she will. But I know there's students that they just simply cannot afford it. Even if there's financial aid opportunities out there, sometimes it's still hard.
Point of clarification: the student had the grades. What she didn't have was the financial need.
Definitely.
Had the financial resources, not need.
Definitely, she had the grades.
Okay. Anything else about financial aid?
Well, I guess just remark this point that sometimes in the U.S. the grades are not enough, right? You have to get this financial aid. There is other components around. Probably parents, they think that because UC is a public entity, it's going to be free, and that's not the case, right? In Mexico, people think that, if it's public, it's free. Well, here in the U.S., that's not the case. So grades and your letter of recommendation, that's not the only thing to get into college. Financial aid is also a critical component, and parents, they should know that, right? That's important.
I heard you throw out $30,000. Is that what it costs per year?
It is. For in-state students, for students from California, it's $30,000 a year. So it's a big amount.
Huge amount.
Huge amount, yes.
Joshua.
Don't be discouraged, though. It's very doable.
Joshua, do you want to add anything about financial aid?
No.
No, okay. So,
good. So tell us a little bit of the research that you're doing around. Many of them in my lab. So how do you like doing research? It's something different from taking classes, right?
So, it's so much different. I love it because it's a more hands-on application of what you learn in classes, though I haven't really learned what I'm applying in the research in the classes yet. But it's more hands-on, and that's what I love. That's where I feel I excelled the most because classes are fun, but it's all really just theory until you put it into practice.
Definitely. So I am a first-year student. I haven't, second-year student, but I haven't done much research. But the little bit that I have been able to do has been great. I thank Dr. Vasquez for giving me the opportunity to be in his lab. It's been huge. I have worked a little bit with graphene, so what he specializes on, but not as much as my friend Joshua here.
Joshua, you said you love it. Why? What is it?
Well, it's a lot of trial and error. There's a lot of things that you learn. You grow from it. You grow patience because there's a lot of mistakes that happen.
Okay. And so you feel it's okay to make a mistake in the lab.
Oh, yeah. I made a lot of mistakes, and I was really hard on myself. But Dr. Vasquez was telling me, he's like, everybody makes mistakes, Joshua. It's okay.
And that's important because, life is not always perfect, right? In life, you will find always challenges, right? And things won't work the first time. So I always tell them, this is like life. I never expect them to come and tell me, "Oh, Dr. Vasquez, it worked." That I will be surprised if that's the case. I will be like suspicious. I want them to tell Dr. Vasquez this didn't work, but I'm going to find out why it didn't work. I'm going to find out a way to make it work. So, and I encourage undergraduate students to, it's not easy, as Miguel pointed out, but if you show the professor that you have read their papers, that you have the time and the commitment, they will definitely give you a spot. And it's the best route to get experience, to get a good letter of recommendation. And when you do research, you start to work in teams. You have to learn like teamwork. You have to learn to make reports. And that's basically what you will have to do eventually when you get a real job. So definitely experience in research is very important.
Miguel, I know you're going to have to leave us and go back to a class. So is there something you'd like us to know before you have to leave?
All right, so one thing I forgot to point out with the financial aspect of school. All right, so one advice that I can give every student that I didn't do for some reason, I did not apply to scholarships. So that is huge. You do have to apply to scholarships. Don't think that financial aid is enough. Don't think that your grades are enough. Don't think that your sport is enough. You need to apply for scholarships. I'm going to tell my sister, I'm going to make sure she applies to scholarships. That makes the process so much easier. It makes it so much better on yourself and on your parents, knowing that they have that little cushion right there. They don't have to take out any more loans than you already do. So make sure you apply to scholarships. That's one advice that I can give you.
And I just want to ask a quick question. What's your parents' reaction to for you being at UCSD?
It's been a huge, huge shock for them. So the Mexican culture, my understanding from the Mexican culture is that your kid is not going to leave your home. Your baby's not going to leave your home until he or she has found their...
We'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you for being here, Miguel.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children. After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Attention business owners. If you feel like your business owns you and want to grow your company and get your life back, then get the Scale Toolkit at scaleyourbusnesstoolkit.com. Created by Wall Street Journal bestselling author David Finkel and Priceline.com co-founder Jeff Hoffman, this free collection of 36 videos and PDF tools will help you build a business, not a job. Go to scaleyourbusnesstoolkit.com today and learn how to work less by getting your business to produce more.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
If you heard that sound, you probably are eligible for insurance from Navy Mutual, insuring the men and women of the Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard. Here's what one policyholder, retired Navy Commander Thomas Dade, had to say.
Navy Mutual is the best insurance decision I ever made. I wish you had a savings plan available that earned the rates my Navy Mutual insurance has been earning.
Navy Mutual Aid Association, started by military members in 1879, serves active, reserve, and retired military today. Navy Mutual honors our military by providing them affordable life insurance with the features they need without fine print, sales fees, or military service restrictions. Value, integrity, trust, and stability are the cornerstones on which our commitment to you and your loved ones are built. Call Navy Mutual at 1-800-628-6011 or NavyMutual.org for your personal life insurance plan consultation. 1-800-628-6011 or NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome, neighbors, to Vecinos with your host, Maria Garcia.
Welcome back to Vecinos. We've been talking about financial aid and the pros and cons and the problems of not having enough financial aid. And I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Oscar Vasquez and ask him to ask a few questions that might be very important to not only the students but to the parents.
Yeah, another important aspect of education is the support of your family, right? Mexican families, Hispanic families, the family core is very important, right? When we have the support of our parents, we can really go far. But sometimes if the parents, they don't pay that much attention to school, it can be like a challenge, right? And something that is very important is that most of the time if you want to go to college, you need to move out of the family core. You need to travel, you need to go to a different city. And that's a challenge that many times parents are afraid of sending their kids away. So could you say something about it, Joshua? How was the challenge for your parents? You know, now our kid is living home.
I still remember the day I moved out. Everyone was crying. We were all in tears because it's a big step, and we're a family of 6. So I have 3 younger siblings and my parents, and we're all very close. We're a classic Latino family where everyone's very close. You got your tias, your tios, and everyone. It was very, very difficult leaving, and it was terrifying for me because it was my first time away from home, really away from home. This is my first year now, so it's not second year now, so it's not that bad. But the first year, it was a completely different culture shock because I was used to, well, first with the food, maybe frijoles and everything, and then I came here and it's completely different. So many different people to meet, so many different faces that I would have never been exposed to if I had just continued staying at home.
I remember in my case, I remember my mom like really crying when I was leaving home, and that's one of the saddest memories that I have that I can recall. And up to now, I feel like, oh my God, was it the right call to leave or not? And I mean, for example, your sister, and have they come to visit you? Do they like? I mean, do you think that you are like also changing a little bit the perspective of your family on education?
My sisters do come to visit me, but my parents don't come to visit me, and that hurts. But I understand it's because they're scared because this is a southern part of California. They're scared of the migra. So, yeah.
Yeah, in my case, sometimes my mom also tells me, not because of she tells me, oh, I mean, why are you working in the U.S. when you could be working here helping Mexican kids? And sometimes I can feel that she doesn't want to come to visit me because she's still like hurt that I left.
You left.
So, yeah, I mean, the family part is important. And I just want to tell the parents, you know, here in the U.S. it's part of the life. I mean, you have to leave home. You have to let them mature. You have to let your kids go fly, and they will mature, and you know it's important for their future. So what about you, Maria, from the perspective of a mother? I mean,
well, you know, let me tell you, I was very lucky because I lived in the city where I went to school, so I didn't have to leave home. But I did move out of my parents' house after 2 years at college because I wanted my own place. And you know, it's surprising enough, my dad helped move me and everything, but my mother would call and she'd say, "I called and you weren't home." And I might have been just at the grocery store, but I hated being I felt like it was an interrogation. So I'd say, "You're right, I wasn't home." Instead of answering, saying, you know, I was at the grocery store. I think it's a fight between wanting to be independent and still having that support system of a family. You know, it's you want both, and you can't have both at the same time. But my parents were born here, so it also made a big difference. My dad's 8th generation, my mother's 2nd generation, so it made a difference in that sense. What about females going to college? Let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, it's in my family, if my sister wanted to go to San Diego, it would be a completely different story. It would be much more difficult for her. because it's a girl and it's the baby girl of the family, and it's a lot more difficult because I think the Mexican machismo, or it's sexism. It's really just sexism.
Let's call it what it is. Yeah.
But that's a huge factor, especially for the daughters that are trying to go to school.
Do you have friends who came and then?
I do. I have a friend that got into Berkeley, but they didn't let her go because it was a little too far from home. They wanted her to go to San Jose State because she wouldn't have to move out and she could stay living at home.
And Berkeley's what, maybe 2 hours from San Jose?
Yeah, it's not even far. But the logic is, if you can go to the school here, education is the same education everywhere. That's what they tell me, but it's not true.
Yeah.
But that's what they say, and they say if you can go to the university that's across the street, why are you going to go 2-3 hours away?
Wow. Okay. So, so do you think that, what do you feel about your sister? Your sister, do you think she wants to go and she faces this challenge, or?
My sister does not want to go. She actually wants to be an EMT. Okay. So there's a lot of programs for that at the community colleges back home.
I think that's sometimes the problem, that, women, they feel that they should stay at home, and that's the biggest challenge, right? Because they even themselves will think, oh, okay, my place is right here.
I know a young woman here in San Diego who had an opportunity to go to a very prestigious school, and was living with her grandmother, and her grandmother did not let her go. And I've been on scholarship committees where girls have come back the second year and said, I can't take the scholarship anymore because my parents want me to work in the restaurant, or my parents want me to do this or that. And so they have a year of college under their belt, but they do not have what they need to get through to a career. Yeah.
And Joshua, do you feel a different kind of perspective for women? For example, when you were in San Jose Community College, I guess there were women and men. Do you feel a different dynamics here at UC San Diego? Not much.
No,
for example, I'm really impressed with the amount of Asian girls who come from China. They are like all over research. They feel so confident and really pushing into that. And I guess that's at least I think when women came to UCSD, I think they feel a little bit more empowered, I would say, compared to more local colleges.
I agree. I believe that coming here opens your mindset, and it empowers a woman because it's stepping out of their comfort zone and say, well, if they can come here, they can conquer the world.
And I think we're going to have to plan a show having women speak for themselves and what experiences they're having. I think that's really much better, before I get you guys in trouble by sitting here talking.
No, absolutely. Myself, I have female professors, and definitely that changes your perspective. You see that they are also super smart, super good. In my opinion, actually, women are way more creative and inventive. Sometimes what I feel is they lack a little bit of confidence to put those ideas forward. What I also see is sometimes when women really give a step in front, sometimes people are like, oh, she's too rude. And no, if it would be a male professor, we would be like, oh, he's showing leadership.
He's assertive. Yeah,
but if it's a female, oh, she's too strong, and she's trying to put her position. But it's.
What are your goals now?
With school or my career?
Your life, your career?
I want to get my PhD. Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. I decided that not too long ago. I'm in a program right now called UC Leads, which is an awesome program I think everyone should apply for, that helps you and prepares you, and it gives you experience in research in order to get your PhD. It's kind of like a support group, but it's with a lot of opportunities.
Tell us a little bit more about that, because I've never heard of this program. So how do people get involved in it?
Well, you apply once you're in a UC. All UCs have them. You apply once you get in, and it's actually a really, really cutthroat trying to get into the program. It's very difficult, but it's good. You have to write a personal statement, I think.
And I think it's a good route because, as Miguel was telling, sometimes if you, as an undergrad, write directly to a professor to get experience in research, sometimes we're busy, including myself, and we don't answer right away. But you can apply to these programs, and they definitely will receive your application, check your grades, your GPA. And once they accept you, then they assign a professor. So then when they tell me, oh, you have to work with this student, I cannot say no. So it's an alternative route to, instead of contacting the professor directly, you go through this program, and it's easier for everyone as well.
Yeah.
You said your grades in high school were terrible.
Yeah.
So tell us the change from high school to now.
Well,
has there been a change?
There has. There's been a huge change. My GPA in high school was a 2.0, and although I did say I excelled in math, and because I took the calculus, AV, and BC test, I got 5s on those, but I got Fs in the classes. But because I did really well and I passed the exams, I got a C- in the classes. So I'm not a model high school student. It wasn't until De Anza when everything changed, and that's when I started actually worrying about my GPA. I began to study, and that's when my life did a turnaround.
And that's also something important. I think in Mexican families, they focus a lot on the grades, on the GPA. But here in the U.S., it's different. The GPA is important, but it's also important your leadership, your statement of motivation, your leadership skills. So I think a lot of students, they are scared because they don't have the greatest GPA. And I told them that's not the only thing. Here in the U.S., you have to write also your statement, your community service. So don't get stressed out just because you don't have the best grades. And I think that's also that comes, as I tell you, from Mexico. In Mexico, your grades are everything. And sometimes you have good grades and you're not going to get a good job. So don't get the GPA is not everything.
And we need to remember that. Yes, we're not encouraging you not to worry about your grades, but we want you to make leadership skills and a variety of other things. Thank you. We'll be back in a minute.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
You've heard me talking about Progressive Medical Center. They have helped me feel my best. And Dr. Gully, tell us a little bit about integrative medicine. Why is that such a big deal at Progressive Medical Center, and how can that make me feel better?
Integrative medicine is just good medicine. It's combining the best of traditional medicine, nutritional medicine, natural medicine, and really helping the patient get to the root cause so they can take control of their health and really make an impact to improve not only their energy, their vitality, and just their overall outlook on their health and their life.
I procrastinated for a long time before I finally made an appointment. So why should someone not delay and go ahead and get set up and come see you guys?
Any journey begins with that first step, and that first step means making a decision to recognize that there's something wrong with you. Whether you have fatigue, inappropriate weight gain, not sleeping well, not concentrating, all of these issues, you can get to the root cause.
So many of us here at The Fish have gotten help from Progressive Medical Center. So why don't you find out more from them today? Go to progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
Attention business owners. Does it feel like your business owns you? See if you qualify for a free 90-minute business coaching session to help you build a business, not a job. During this free 90-minute strategic consultation, one of our senior coaches will help you map out the best way to grow your company and get your life back. To learn more, go to MauiMasterminds.com/scale now. That's MauiMasterminds.com/scale now.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome, neighbors, to the Cinos with your host, Maria Garcia.
You're listening to WSRadio.com, the worldwide leader in Internet talk. We've been talking about attending college and leaving your home, going to a school such as UCSD, financial aid. There's a lot of different factors and aspects of just going to college itself. Oscar?
Yes, so, definitely when students are finishing high school, it comes the question, right, I want to go to college, and then they face a lot of options, and some of these options are very tough options. So I've been talking to several students. Some of them have gone straight from high school to UC or university, but I also have had very good impression from the students who have gone first to community college and then transferred to a UC system. Basically, the community college the cost is basically free. It serves as a transition from the high school to the UC system. I think community college, they have excellent teachers. I've been there. I think the teachers are really fully dedicated to the students. And I think basically from what I've heard from Joshua, he had a great experience going to De Anza College. So tell us a little bit about that experience, Joshua.
Well, like I said before, graduating from high school, I wasn't going to get into any UC or college. So I had to go to community college. But in the end, it turned out to be probably the greatest decision I've made in my life so far, because there I made a turnaround. I focused on grades. I took really good professors. The classes are small compared to UCSD.
How many students do you have more or less in your
in my community college? Probably around 40 to 50 students as taking undergraduate classes, because that's all they offer at community colleges. So I was taking undergraduate classes, the 30 to 40 students, and I took a Build 1 class here at UCSD, and it had 300, 400 people. Then I had to retake a math class that I took at De Anza for some reason, vector calculus. And when I came over here, 400, 300, 400 people in the class.
Did you have the chance to talk with a professor at the UC? Compared to, I guess interaction is completely different, right?
Yeah, well, at my community college for my math professor, I spoke to all my professors. They were all very, very welcoming, and they were also very available. 30 to 40 students seemed a lot back then, but it's not actually. They made time for you, and they helped. They were really there to help. And here, they're here to help too, but it's a little different because there's so many people that also want help, and a lot of people are not afraid to ask for help. And they do, and it's a little more competitive even to get that help that you need in classes from the professor.
What about relationships? The relationships you build in the community college and the relationships you build, and I'm talking about friends now, in the college, the UC system.
Well, I made a ton of friends at De Anza, my community college. There actually, a lot of the people that I went to school with at De Anza transferred here, and we're studying the same major, all STEM, I believe. And they're relationships that have lasted. I made some friends. Because I went to De Anza, I have friends that are in Davis, I have friends that are in Berkeley, and we're all a support group, really. We're all here to help each other.
And that's very important when you're going to college, to have other people supporting you.
Yeah, I think it would have been much more difficult making friends here, because already everyone already has their circles. Everyone has their group of friends, and it's a little more difficult making friends here as opposed to my community college.
So if you go from high school directly to the UC system, for example, it's a 4 year, and basically you have to do 4 years in the university, right?
Yeah.
in your case, basically, it's 2 years in the community college, and then how many years you're supposed to do at the...
Well, it's 2 years, but it took me 3 years.
Of community college?
Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't know what I wanted to do, but apparently it takes most students about 3 years to get out of community college. And then once you get out of community college, it's supposed to take 2 years at a UC, but it's also going to take me 3 years, just the way the classes are spread out.
So you save like 1 or 2 years of tuition from the university, right? Is that...
Yeah, you save 2 years of the university, and if a year it's $30,000, that's $60,000 that you're saving, which is
just
a
to point
lot
out,
of
like,
money.
in terms of money, how much it means. I mean, if you take the community college route, the community college route is like $60,000 that you would be saving. What about the application? Is it the same requirements when you transfer, or if you come directly from high school?
Every UC has their own requirements. So I think there's a website that you can check. I can't really remember, but every school has their own requirements. They're usually very similar for like mechanical engineering. Most people have to take the physics, the chem, the math, but then there's also little differences.
And the SAT as well that you have to...
For community college, I didn't take the SAT.
Okay, that's it.
And also in high school, I didn't take the SAT.
So you never had to take the SAT? Okay, that's
I've never taken the SAT.
That's important because a lot of students are really, really good, but when they take the test, they freak out. And then, I mean, they can be super good, but like doing tests is a different kind of like skill that is not always related to your abilities. So that's another reason to go for the community college route.
Yeah, well, if you don't want to take the SATs, go to community college.
I can tell you, when you go for a job, probably they won't ask you to make a test. They will check what are your skills, your personal skills, your academic skills. When you go for a real job, they're not going to ask you to answer a test. So I don't really mind if you never applied, if you never took the SAT.
So okay, you're in San Diego. You're going to college. What's going on now?
With
your school? I mean, do you have time to have a social life? Are you going to school all the time? Tell us. What's it like?
I actually study a lot. I spend most of the time in the library, and the time that I don't spend in the library, I spend at church, or I play a lot of guitar. And I picked up a hobby not too long ago. I like taking a lot of pictures. I like photography.
And let me tell you, Maria, last week he went to his first research conference.
Oh, yes, I did.
Where? Tell us about it.
Oh, that was so exciting. It was actually, I got into the research conference. I learned about it through the UC Leads program that I was doing through this, through the summer research that I did over the summer. That's what I presented. It was in Utah, Salt Lake City, Utah. And I get this reaction from most people that, Utah, what's so cool about Utah? But it was actually very awesome. It was a beautiful city full of very nice people. And it was an awesome opportunity because I got to network. And it was also my first time doing a poster presentation. And they were all bio majors, so I wasn't really worried about what I was presenting because nobody really knew what I was talking about. But they were all very, they all wanted to push everyone forward. They were there to help, and they were there to offer their resources.
Supportive.
Yeah.
And what did you get out of that conference?
Oh, well, I spoke to a lot of universities because they also had an exhibit hall where a lot of universities came and did set up their booths. I spoke to a lot of schools about grad school. And they have, because I want to go to grad school, but I don't know exactly what I want to do in grad school. So I spoke to a lot of them, and they're helping me narrow down what it is I want to study, and I think that's awesome.
So it's really, it's like taking you by the hand and leading you and helping
exactly.
you. And that's great.
I guess you would agree, Maria. I mean, when you do research, you have another kind of network to discuss ideas, and I think also research is I think people who do research, they tend to be like open-minded. It's a very open spirit. So it's another opportunity for students who do research. So yeah, and this is going to be this conference already is going to be part of your file when you apply to grad school.
Yeah.
So all the things that you're doing right now are important. And let me tell you, for grad school, when I was applying to grad school, I didn't have any paper. And that was kind of like the common thing. Having a paper already published as an undergrad was like, wow, surprising. Right now, that's the norm.
Oh,
Wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. I mean, students who don't have a paper.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next week. We appreciate you listening to Vecinos. Thank you for being our guest. See you.
A podcast or radio show on WS Radio is a great way to create content marketing. Turn prospects into customers into raving fans. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
Kenja Dixon was crowned the #1 sales executive through hard work, deep thinking, and the revelation of universal talk laws. He now wants to share these lessons with you. Universal talk laws are what you need to know and use in business and at home to have successful and effective conversations. Kenja Dixon shares his wisdom, action plans, and wealth. Each book comes with a chance to win $10,000. Find Universal Talk Laws at KenjaDixon.com. On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
Hi, Scale listener. This is David Finkel, co-host with Jeff Hoffman of Scale Your Business. I wanted to let you know that our newest book, Scale, was just released and to encourage you to get your copy. The book will give you 7 proven principles to grow your business and get your life back. If you've ever wanted to grow your business, but held yourself back from fear that it would take over your life, then we urge you to get your copy of Scale today. It'll give you a proven roadmap for rapidly growing your business while also gaining more personal freedom. Scale will help you work less by getting your business to produce more. Scale is for every entrepreneur who ever wondered if they really own their business or if their business owns them. Get your copy online or at your local bookseller. For more information, visit us online at scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com. That's scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com.
Controversy and conversation to upset the status quo. A no-holds-barred exploration and obliteration of the limits of possibility. Join me, Steve Olsher, and my rambunctious crew on Reinvention Radio, where each week we scour the planet to bring you the world's foremost social, business, political, technology, and scientific disruptors who challenge the accepted and forge daring, cutting-edge paths. That's Reinvention Radio, where normal comes to die and mediocrity meets its final demise.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.